The quiet before the galaxy's storm. Forgetting that 10,000 years is a long time. Despite the longest L species lifespan, the Xanther Dominion had become the dominant force in the disappearance of humanity's crystalline. Through the stars, ships glide like predators throughout the night that they managed. 60% of the Milky Way is under their control. Uncontested aside from small-scale conflicts with the Confederacy of Virginia and other smaller. Xeric, Power's first speaker, stood on his flagship's observation deck, the ascending crystals staring at the holographic Dominion display region of a galaxy with a progress order. Under their watchful eye, the primitive people had been elevated to dissidents had been quelled, and the myths about the violent species in the past that formerly put galactic harmony in danger were only stories of caution told. 2. Younglings, this is our first speaker. A transmission of priority from science. His aide declared empirical truth. Pieces of crystal in her headpiece. Softly tinkling when she bowed fell Xeric. His iridescent scales turned, reflecting. What is the Ola display's blue light? Have they discovered yet another extinct species? No, sir, they report civilization. Unusual energy readings from deceased people. Zone the inner eyelids of the first speaker. What was it that flared in the surprise the dead zone? The Perius arm was originally referred to by the ancients as had spent millennia in confinement. Since the purge, nothing has lived there. Show me the holo display that he ordered. Changed its emphasis to a distant area of a throbbing red dot is the dead zone. Revealed the disturbance's origin. 3 cycles ago, the signal appeared. Aide clarified that it had been becoming stronger. According to actual truth, it matches no energy signature that we are aware of in our databases, after which the historical Fezer's archives provided a feeling of. Hours later, his stomach began to get uneasy. The first level ended up in the ancestral archives, are a large room that is rarely anyone other than historians who visit, and the seeker the chief, sometimes spiritual. Elder Vlar, an archist, is so old that the scales had turned pallid and translucent. White came over with a crystal of info. We discovered a cube in his twisted hands. Match, the elder said in a whisper. Age-related raspiness is interfering with the data. After inserting crystal into the reader, the holographic screen shifted to grainy old footage of life and distorted images of colossal, vicious ships in their designs, numerous sharp corners and exposed weapon systems that are shooting at signs of energy in Xanther vessels. From their weaponry corresponded with the unusual readings flawlessly. These documents date back to the Great Purge. According to Elder Voslar, when our ancestors were threatened with extinction by of the people, Felzer's blood began to flow. Icy people, the aggressive bipeds who the galactic civilization was simply obliterated prior to their eventual eradication, or thus, history asserted that it was impossible for the 10,000 years ago, mankind went extinct. They blasted their planets into Elder Villar's eyes, dead husks. Mirrored the old video of were they the last to be destroyed? Attack on Earth, which led to a enormous energy spike that obliterated half. Our forebears believed that the attack fleet. It was a suicide, a last act of resistance. Weapon, but what would happen if it wasn't? Elder, what if they didn't do what you suggested? Death, what if they just vanished? To hide and wait while licking their wounds. Prior to El Zerk dismissing this absurd idea that his communicator, the first speaker's voice chimed. Aide was alarmed by the empirical reality. Had stopped talking before communication was lost. They sent pictures of a building. In the dead zone, activating is massive throughout the galaxy in what the Xanther referred to the dead zone as a gigantic station was waking up in the depths of its automatic systems in the corridors. Checks and the power flow for diagnostics via channels where lane was dormant. The UNF Bastion station for millennia. Alpha had been patiently awaiting its AI, keeping an eye out for indications in the galaxy. That time had arrived in the center of the cryogenic pods at the station started the revival procedure within one of these pods. Admiral Helen Vasquez's eyes opened to reveal the Rev was, for the first time in 10,000 years, confusing, but her training took over. She evaluated her right away. Surroundings, observing the gentle blue emergency illumination and the soft murmur of the station's status report on coming to live. Her voice is scratchy from lack of use. The AA at the station reacted right away. It said, "Good morning," in a cool, collected tone. Fleet-wide Admiral Phase 1 activation. 98% of the time, Bazin Alpha is waiting for your current command while online. Galactic date, about 10,000. Exodus Helena has been in business for 247 years. Muscles protesting as she gently sat up. Her legs swung over the pod's edge. And the indication verified Admiral the Nexus beacon has been found to. Conditions have been satisfied, so now is the time for. Upon returning, a ghostly smile appeared. Let's wake the others after seeing Helena's face. Somewhere in the world, the long night is done. The Xanther Dominion, the galaxy, mobilized. A combat fleet has been ordered by Fezer to examine the disruption in the dead. The pride of the line's Zone 20 ships. Approaching the location, the Dominion of the weaponized Lost Science vessel. Vex Terrell, the charge fleet commander, stood on the bridge of the unavoidable. Dominance observing his ships plummeting out of travel that was once quicker than light. They floated the empirical S. Truth, it's broken and crystalline. Someone's first egg beyond it. A huge station hung in whispers. Its dark metal surface is approaching. Vibrant with life and lights, it. Even the inevitable domination was overshadowed. Which stood as the biggest ship in the Dominion fleet and its environs. Emerging from what appeared to be a. There were hundreds of ships carrying doctors. Their designs are strange, but in certain ways. Vex Terrell, threatening scan those vessels. Told him to keep his voice steady in spite of his. The energy fingerprints of the racing pulse, sir. Correspond to those found in historical archives. These are the inner human vessels of Vex TL. Eyelids fluttered quickly, making it impossible for the humans have vanished, sir. An officer of communications called out, "We're obtaining a message from the station." Passed it through the screen's hole. Vex Terrell and Flicker's wreck discovered themselves observing a bill-like creature with a person with flat teeth and hairless skin. Suppose the historical documents were female. Admiral Helena Vasquez is correct. In the Defense Force of the United Nations, she. Her tone was stern and commanding, The ship has entered a restricted area. Give your name and explain your. Vex Toril threw out his intentions. I am Fleet Commander to the fullest extent possible. You are ex-Toril of the Xanther Dominion. Entering Dominion territory without permission. These sectors that we have governed for thousands of years, human expression. Kept this station the same and the surrounding area has been occupied by humans. Command for much longer, Commander, your being present here is against Limits set prior to your Vex, civilization accomplished space flight. Tyrell became enraged with the people. Were vanquished during the Great Purge. Kind is thought to have vanished. The person's mouth curled upward at this point. In the commander's recognition of a smile, but it didn't appear to be genuine on a human. Reports of our extinction that are friendly have been overstated, Commander. We just decided